Is it started recording yet? I can't tell. I mean, okay. Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on November 8th, 2023. Hey, how's my sound, everybody? Is it good? Is it okay? Yeah. You know what? I'll just say I got these earbuds. I won't open them up because they turn on. I got these earbuds, but I don't like talking when there's something stuck in my ears. Is anybody else like that?
I love my earbuds.
Yeah, well, you're not using them now. I like listening to music with them.
Oh yeah, I use it for everything. I have an issue with one side's got an issue with the microphone, so I tend not to use them because if I run out of batteries on the left one, when I put the right one in, you guys can't hear me. Okay,
we're not interested. Okay, okay. This recruiter. Okay, I got a lot of puzzles today. This recruiter, it was for a supervisor job, I think probably in a factory or warehouse or something. And the recruiter went out to a printer to get the resume printed out for his next interview. When he came back to his office, the candidate was there already with his feet on the desk on the phone. So he just kicked him out. Does anybody, what's your take on that? Does anybody agree with what? What did you say?
I mean, why would
he's
the guy have his feet on his desk?
Speechless. He was taking it easy. I'm on the phone. The interview hasn't started yet.
I mean, he's lucky. I have to get the fuck out of my office now.
That's what happened. David and Mar, I'm always breaking my promise. I said I won't call on anybody, but I kind of assume that you like to talk. So even though you're muted, so you can speak up on this. You haven't for the last minute that I've been going at it, but you don't have to say anything.
I can tell you that would send the wrong message on the corporate side, and likely that would be a tick against the interviewer. Or candidate interviewing, because one, it's not professional, and you're basically saying, "Oh, this is my house. I'm going to put my feet up, and shit where I eat, for lack of a better term."
He's not doing that. You're stretching it, okay? He's not in the Army where he has to salute. I'm just wondering, for that job.
I mean,
unless it's disrespectful.
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful unless it's an industry that it makes sense, and it's like. More,
does it mean, is it an indication that he can't do the job properly?
Not necessarily. It just means he's a rude person, most likely, or arrogant, or smug, or something like that.
Okay, well, that's a good.
Any sense? Why anyone who wasn't your best friend messing with you would do that in your office? I can't even think. Even my best friend wouldn't do that. That's just weird. And I'm an obnoxious asshole.
One of my best friends surprised me once. It was summertime, and I wasn't wearing any socks, and I just I let my shoes slip on, so I let them slip off, and I put my feet up, right? And he said, "I don't want to look at the bottoms of your feet." I thought he was crazy, right? But you made me put my shoes back on. Okay. Anyway, let me see. Okay. Yeah, let me go to some of these other problems. Okay. Oh, you know what? Well, we get on this for Tommy's here. This person said she doesn't send mass emails, but she uses Gmail, and she's never had any problems. But recently, her emails have been going to spam. People said Google is putting in new restrictions. Okay. Do you know anything about, you're the sort of the email guy with Mailgun and all that stuff, how to get your emails verified or validated. Do you know anything about that, Tommy, with
I don't know. It would be more like, what is she using to do her mass emails? We use, like I said, we use Loxo that uses Mailgun, so we have no issues with deliverability. But that, again, I'm not a big email person. I don't send thousands of emails a week, thousands of emails a month, even. So I'm probably not the best for this, but I can tell you that I was looking at our reports, and I haven't seen any significant amount of undeliverability. Sent to spam or anything like that on the last.
Are you using Gmail? Is Gmail you're not using Gmail?
No, we use Outlook. through
Now,
GoDaddy.
I want to point something out, and I've got I'm sure that that David M. Marr would back me up if he wants to. I said she doesn't send mass emails, okay? And you just picked up on mass emails.
So then there should not be a single issue with her deliverability if she's not sending mass emails.
She said,
and why she's having deliverability issues is kind of strange.
Okay, but let's say Google has some rules, okay? And is there a workaround based on all the stuff you've told us in the past about getting?
That's why I got rid of Google. Right? Like Google's fine to start your business out with, and I'm sure if you're a giant corporation and Google signs a contract with you, it's different. But I moved to Office 365 because Google just got frustrating to work with if you wanted to have tom@prsearchinc.com. That's why I switched. I was a Google Power user for 8 years and then switched to Microsoft
Richie Rosen told us
that.
he switched too, but it was a pain in the butt.
Well, he didn't switch using GoDaddy. I did, so it was a little bit easier for me. And I've heard that, though. I've heard that, if you don't have an IT guy and you try to set it up yourself, it can be difficult. I've had issues, minor issues.
I'm a Google user. I have their Google Business Suite. I haven't noticed any problems. Oh, speak of the devil, here he is. Kanenahara, Richie Rich Rosen, America's Recruiter, came back to us.
It's going on, big boy.
Well, we're talking about this woman said that she's using Gmail and she's having trouble having it go through. Okay. All of a sudden they're going to spam. Our good friend Palermo Rhodes says that's why he got out of Gmail. And I was just saying, well, Richie Rosen got out of Gmail as well. Okay. Mel, I know I just want to say there's a guy named Mel here. I know you're here. You're welcome to speak up anytime you want. But since, it looks like you're muted, etc., I won't call on you. So I'm telling, it's Mel. It's not a guy. I'm so sexist, everybody. Shame on me, okay? Mel, he still thinks it's a man's name. Sorry. Mel McLeod. Are you using Gmail, Mel?
Yes, that's what my company uses.
Any problems?
Not so far.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a Gmail issue, I don't think. I think it's more she's got like a bad setup, or she's got blacklisted, or there's a bunch of other things she's got to check out.
Claims she's not mass mailing. She's not mass mailing.
It doesn't matter. You change her back end. Like, look at her back end. There's a couple settings.
Yeah.
You have to
look at her back end. I just said I'm sexist, and he's talking about looking at her back end.
The back end of the email. There's I don't know the names of them, but isn't there stuff?
You got to look at your DKIM settings, your DMARC settings.
your DMARC, all that stuff. Because I was actually, what she needs to do is take her URL, headhunter.com or wherever it is, and put it in those places where you could check your reputation. If she's not a 9.5 or higher, then she's got something wrong with her.
Well,
back at the house.
You just go to MX Toolbox, you put it in there. There's a spot to check your blacklist, to check your settings, and I'll tell you what your problems are.
MX Toolbox. Okay. Mel, you should listen to that. Richie's just giving you something delicious that you might save your company. They'll say, what's going wrong? I was on the Recruiting Animal Show and the $1 Million Man told me what to do. Okay. I can solve the problem. Okay.
I love an animal. Every time I have a bad day, I need to talk to the animal.
Okay. Well, but I thought I thought Tommy was going to say you got to go to Mailgun as long as it goes through Mailgun.
Mailgun helps a ton, but if you're still having issues, you need to check all your stuff. Like I'm checking mine right now. Everything. I'm not on any blacklists. The only thing is my DMARC record is not published. So I need to call and find out what the deal with that is.
Call who? Who are you calling?
GoDaddy.
Go Busters. Okay. Ghostbusters. Mel, do you want to say hi? Introduce yourself. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't ever say I forced you. Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. So I've been recruiting in the manufacturing industry for about 5 years. I just switched over to a corporate recruiter role as in the landscaping industry. So it's a little bit of a change, but the hourly turnover is very similar to manufacturing. So it's
okay, so
right
it's
up my alley.
manufacturing, but not senior roles then. Not senior roles, right?
Some account manager roles and business development manager roles, but those don't come as often because we have lower turnover with those positions.
Are you working for somebody like True Green Chemlon, a big landscaping company that does landscape and hardscapes?
Yes, in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, you're going to run into the hourly with the landscaping. I have a friend who's a recruiter in landscaping, and yeah, I feel your pain.
Okay, before Rich bails on us, you never know when it's going to happen. Okay,
I'm a busy man lately. Jeez, you know.
I got the perfect question for him. Mel, you've never been here before. I just want you to know the culture. I don't want you to go away crying and tell everybody how awful we are. Okay, so when I might not call on you, you just butt in. Okay, just butt in and say, and I'll tell you. Hold on, I'll get to you. Okay, if some, that's how it works. If you butt in and interrupt us, we're not going to think, oh, she's an awful person. No, we've never. Because that's what we're like. That's what we're like. That's why there's not many people on the show. Okay.
Have thick skin, Mel, and don't take it personal. Just have an opinion. If you got something to add, jump in, jump out.
There's the man behind the curtain with no picture.
Yeah, he's up in heaven. He's speaking from heaven, from the dematerialized zone. Okay, back to Richie. Rich. This guy has been working on this Fortune 500 company. He wants to bring him in as an account. He talks to the TA manager and finds out that they've got a search they've been having trouble filling for a full year. Okay. He says, I'm gonna fix that for you. In a few days, he comes back with a fantastic candidate, right? They say, oh, send her over. He says, I got to have a fee agreement first. Okay. She says, send over a redacted resume. Just send us no. He sends it over. She said, I like it. I want to see the resume. He said, fee agreement first. She said, look, it's going to take me a while to get a fee agreement together. She said, if you don't trust us, we want to use you long term, but if you don't trust us, we'll only use you this one session. Okay. So
don't ever fucking take a no from a person who can't say yes.
Sure, exactly. I mean, I've got good friends that are TA managers. They're useless. It's a stupid story, stupid, recruiter for doing it. Even sending a redacted resume is a waste of time, usually. So
why?
Because I have literally never made a placement sending a blind resume ever.
Not blind. He took the name and the contact information.
That's blind. What the hell?
Blind.
No, blind is when you send it over without. Oh, okay, unsolicited. Maybe my terminology.
No, blind redacted means blind. You blanked it all out. Unsolicited means you're an idiot. So no.
I've said this 100 times. The conversation you have, whether it's a talent acquisition person, a hiring manager, doesn't matter. The conversation you have that ends in them saying, send me a resume, is a totally different conversation that ends with you setting up an interview. And it is our job to set up interviews, not to send resumes. End of story.
Well, yeah, I read all the nevers. We've got a huge list from Tommy of don't ever do things. And I think he says, don't ever send a resume without having an interview time first. But we'll get to that. I want to talk about this. So then she says to him, and listen, we've got our own fee agreement anyway. I'm not going to sign yours. You're going to sign mine.
So then what? So what does she tell him? Why is this going to
send it to me? Let me look at it.
Yeah. What's going to take? So why is it so hard to get it done if you have your own stupid agreement?
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another pansy recruiter afraid to get a no, and just want something that's desperate to work on something.
Okay.
And
I just walked away from a search because they wouldn't pay a $3,000 engagement fee, and it was a talent acquisition guy going, "We're just looking for a good contingency recruiter." I go, "Well, you're called the wrong guy. Have a nice day."
I mean, and $3,000 is nothing. No offense. I mean, like,
it's nothing.
I charge $10,000, which I don't think is a lot either.
Okay. He's not you. Okay. America's recruiter. Okay. He's never been in the top 10 on the Forbes list. Okay. So hold on a second. There's a kink here that I was a genius to figure out. Obviously, the recruiter has before he sends out a resume or even a redacted one, presumably he told the candidate who the company is. If he backs out now, she can go there directly. Okay. And he's screwed. He's over a barrel. Am I right?
And what is your What is your question?
No, you guys can walk away.
Animal
He
just
can't
wants
walk
to be
away.
right. He wants to get his one right answer in today, and that was it.
He can't walk away. You guys
You can
are right.
walk away because you tell the
No.
client. Yes, you do. You can tell the candidate, listen, if this is where you want to go, and this is kind of ethics place you want to be at, knock your socks off.
Yeah, I want to go there. Screw you, recruiter. You're not going
Right.
to.
And then she's gonna get screwed. Yeah.
Fine. That's
And-
fine.
and honestly,
she
if the
becomes a
recruiter
source, and I rape and pillage them for the next 2 years.
Yeah. But also,
Don't-
if the recruiter
don't
had a
use that
half a
terminology.
brain, if he had a half a brain, he would have put his agreement on the same PDF as the resume and sent it over. So with an email says, if you hire this person, this is what the fee is. It may not work in court. You may fight it, but you just have a leg to stand on.
Or
I am-
even better, Rich, how about taking the resume, stick it in ChatGPT, and putting the summary together?
Yep.
So it shows no dates, no company names, and a very good summary of all the important information that the employer is going to want. You send this is a summary. We call it our confidential
You
data sheet.
did essentially. The
summary of the candidate.
redacted resume was that.
No,
essentially.
no.
Resume, you just take the header off it, and most of this person sounds like they're dumb enough where they didn't remove even the most current company. Was my guess, because honestly, to send a blind resume is a waste of freaking time. It just doesn't work. Yeah, everyone's going, oh, it worked for me once or twice. Bullshit. And even if it did, who cares? It works far less than it's worth your time. You know.
Anybody else want in on this before we move off? I disagree. This guy's over a barrel. He's got to sign her fee agreement and collect whatever he can on this
Then
candidate.
why wouldn't you send the agreement? That's all these stupid TAs. Oh, like it's not. You have the agreement. Send it over. Let me at least leave.
He's
Yeah.
got him.
I-
She's go ahead.
signed up and told me to fuck off and they can't do my stuff.
Who's that?
What are you playing for us there? Some nonsense.
And we're hearing the voices in your head.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gaping.
Here's another one. Okay. This guy has had a client for 10 years. He's been giving them a discount. He thinks it's great. I don't think it's so fantastic. His regular fee is 25%. He lowered
saw
it to
this one.
22.5, right? And so now they've got a new, but the strange, I find this strange. They obviously give sign-on bonuses as a regular thing, okay? And so he charges them a fee based on the sign-on bonus. They
Right.
got a new HR director. She says no more fee on the sign-on bonus. What should he do? Should he raise his fee back up to 25%? He made $200,000 from them this year alone. You don't want
Yeah.
to rock that boat.
I mean,
I'm going to rock that boat a little bit. I would
yeah,
either
you gotta
take-
try it.
Yeah, I'm going to either say we're going to move to 25% and then fine, because the sign-on bonuses were like $5,000. We're talking about $1,200.
That's
So
all
fine, move it up to 25%. We'll just do base salary. But then again, I might go around her and say to the manager or the owner, whoever the hiring manager is, and say, wait a second, we've had this relationship, and all of a sudden a new HR lady comes in. If you want to trash our relationship, that's fine. But over something you've been doing for 2 years,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, yeah. I mean, if it's a $5,000 sign-on bonus, who cares? I mean, it's not worth rocking the boat
That's
too much,
right.
but I would definitely push it.
$1,200,
And-
but it works the other way too.
Slow down. But I would definitely
we
push
scared
it.
Mel away. I was going to ask her if she wanted to say something to give her a chance, but I didn't get around to it, so we scared her away already. She's
That's all right.
not,
She'll be
not
back.
being respected here.
She was worried
Okay.
what David was doing.
Okay, hold on a second. Based on what you guys said, okay, I
Yeah.
don't understand why walk away if the fee he's making off of the
You wouldn't walk
signing
away.
bonus, the fee he's making off the signing bonus is so small.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
I mean, but you'd push to try to get your higher fee back and be, listen, I mean, I understand we're getting paid on that because we discounted our fee. If we're not discounting our fee, then listen, we'd like to get back to our normal, go back to 25%.
I want to get back to the, I'm going to say unbiased third party. Okay. Am I a chicken, David M. Marr? These guys seem so much more bold than I am. Okay. I think I am. What do you see? You have an opinion?
Yeah, you're a little timid.
Yeah.
I think Mitch
I
is
don't go back
ready-
on my
Mitch and
contract.
Tom are ready for lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's it. I lost one of my favorite clients ever. I mean, we were friendly. I mean, I'm still hurts me that I lost this guy, but we did a deal, and then he wanted to go back. He wanted me to renegotiate the deal at the end. It was $7,500, and I was like, listen, I gave him every out I could. I even listen, we'll take half the fee over the next 2 placements, so it's another whatever, call it $7,000. It's $3,500 for the off each of the next 2 placements. And then with the new contract, I'd even lower my fee to this new rate. But I just principle can't lower my fee after the deal's done. And this is a big company. It was a couple $100 million company. It wasn't like a $2 company. He couldn't do it.
Okay.
So,
Last time we heard this story was $5,000, not $7,500.
it was $7,000. It was $7,000 or $7,500. Go listen to it.
I lost Tilden Lovinson Cooper. They're a company in Orlando, Florida, TLC for engineer and architecture. Paid me a couple $100,000 in fees over 2 years. New HR manager came in, and I lost the entire account over me not willing to budge on the bullshit she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
now
you
there's a
guys
difference. You guys are so successful and so confident that about your future.
No,
I
it's
think
just
that
drawing-
you've got such a
It's
big buffer.
not confidence. It's drawing your line in the sand. Listen, this is what it's worth.
Ethics.
And this is what we agreed on. Like
What if
I
I said to them, I think you like this guy so much, my fee's now 30%.
Yeah.
I just raised my fee to 30%. If you want to hire this guy, what are they going to say to that?
Exactly. Good
You might
point.
have them over a barrel, just like I said that other
But
one.
I would never do that, and I would never do that, and I don't expect my clients to do it to me too. We agreed upon a contract. We stick to that contract. If I want to give you a discount, I will. But don't come to me after the fact and say, I'm ready to negotiate the fee. You
Yep.
can go fuck yourself. Excuse
Yeah.
my French.
Yep.
But no, it's a great point. It's a good point. I love it. Best point Tommy's made. Love it.
Mhm.
Thank you, Rich. I don't know if that's an insult or not.
No, it's a good. It's one of those backhanded compliments, I think maybe.
The
But
whole
no, that was a
point of
great.
our industry is we have this bad reputation, right? And and guys like me and Rich try to stick to our morals, our ethics. This is how we do business. I do business with everyone the same way.
Yep.
Like I told this company the other day about I don't work contingency. I'm not working for you just because. Why? Because you're you? Because you have 3 openings? Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't work contingency. I'm sorry. I want to help you, but I can't.
So Tommy, I'm just curious. What's an average fee for you?
20-ish.
Yeah. So I mean, $3,000 is. I mean, mine is.
Nothing.
No, it's not. And it's just to me, I tell my clients flat out, I'm like, this is what I ask for. I want, $10,000 up front or, $9,000 up front to avoid the CFO. I even flat out tell them, listen, it's not about the engagement fee. It's not about the amount of money. If you had a different number in mind, fine. I really don't care. It's the principle of it that you're serious about the search. I mean,
That's all it is.
if my client came back and said, I'll give you $3,000 per search, I honestly probably wouldn't fight him on it. It's just the pure principle that everything is locked and loaded or should be. And
I did a 10,000 one for a CFO. I've done 5 for a pre-construction manager where the fee was 40 grand. I kind of base it off what I think, how much work's going to go into it and how much the fee's going to be is how I base it. And the stuff that I do, most of the engineering stuff I do is, that's not easy, but I can do it I feel 3 grand is worth the time and effort that I put in. And if for whatever reason you drop off the face of the earth, your cousin's sister's best friend takes the job or whatever, I paid 3 grand for my troubles.
Personally, if I were you, I'd go to $5,000 just because, I mean, to me, I even think my money, my amount of money that I ask for is too cheap also. But I would, to me, when I hear people do,
I may start doing it.
yeah,
That's a good point.
honestly, because if they're going to do 3, they're going to do 5. They're not going to, it's not going to care.
Yeah, I've been doing 3 for 14 years, so maybe it's time to raise the price.
Yeah. I mean,
What difference does it make then? That you're not working for that 3,000 or 5,000. That's just to assure.
no, it's just the principle. But if you price yourself too low, then you're viewed as, a cheap service.
Okay.
And
Mel, hold on. Is there anything, Mel? I'm going to ask you one time. Is there anything you want to tell these big shots to put them in their place? I'm just giving you a chance. We're still talking about the same thing that we were when you signed up.
I love being wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar. It sounds like do you all work independently and not for a company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. David M. Marr works for companies, not us.
Well, Rich and I both own our own firms.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that means you got nothing to say. Is that what you're saying? I asked you if you got to say something.
No, I wish I was a go-getter and was doing the same thing as you all for sure.
Okay.
everyone can do it.
Okay.
If you're doing it, your boss will love this. But if you're doing well for him, you do well for yourself. It's really that simple.
Not necessarily.
Yes,
Not necessarily.
But
No,
what we run
because
into, Rich, and I will push back, is that business development is the single hardest issue for every recruiter I've ever met. Is they
Yep.
cannot do business development.
Yeah. I'm running a BD group for Mark Whitby's recruiter coaching group. I run a BD class for him. It's the hardest thing any recruiter, even Pinnacle. Everyone's the same thing. Half the group is made up of Pinnacle people. It's the hardest thing.
Yeah, but Rich always insists that they're both the exact recruiting a candidate
Sure.
or signing or doing business development. It's the exact same thing. Although
And
you
still-
say
it still is.
psychologically, it's different because when
Exactly.
you're recruiting, you're giving. When you're business development, you're taking. That's the difference.
Nope, you're still giving. What are you talking about? That's your
So
problem, right?
you're taking money. You're
not
taking
taking-
money.
But you're giving education. You're giving information. You're giving them a one-time shot. Here's a one-time purchase that you could use the rest of your life. Like for me, you're going to place this guy. I'm going to place with you is going to make millions of dollars just based on his quota, and my $30,000-$40,000 fee is too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But
And
You should want to pay me more for better candidates.
Yeah, but then it's not worth the investment. You know.
it's too bad we're not on a grid anymore.
You know, I don't like
for
the white thing.
for the recording. It's too bad because people can't see what faces I'm making when I'm listening to you contradict what you
Oh
said
my
in
God.
the past.
Dude,
Okay.
you and you're misremembering. You smoked
Yeah.
too much of that Canadian ganja, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Mel, is there any issues that you want to ask all the three pros here? What do you have any problems that you want to discuss with them? Anything?
Yes, and this is continuously an issue, but I want to be able to call someone out on their, I want to lessen, I basically have a lot of no-shows for interviews at the hourly level, and it's my biggest pet peeve, is just, people ghosting. So if you all have any advice on that, I would definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, at that level, man, it is, that's the hard, personally, the best advice is call higher, like work on higher level deals, because the lower the level, the bigger the pain in the ass.
But she's not in
Yeah,
that.
she works
know.
for a big
I know.
company.
I'm just saying that's the hardest part. Those hourly ones are absolutely.
How are you getting, Melissa? How are you getting your candidates? The hourly candidates. Are you running ads? Is that strictly how you get your?
Have you heard of Applicant Pro before?
Mm-mm.
It is an ATS system that posts to like every website. It mainly uses Indeed, and we do sponsor our ads. But I'm getting a lot of unrelatable hourly candidates that don't have any landscape experience. So Indeed's kind of a crapshoot right now for me.
Yep.
So you're getting a lot of basically active candidates that are applying to jobs and saying I'm interested, and then they don't show up for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, and I don't know how it works in the corporate world, but it might be, this is where something like an email campaign might work, where you're able to grab every person who's got landscape in their LinkedIn profile or their Facebook profile and send them an email and a text saying, hey, I'm a headhunter. Would you be open to working for the best landscaping company in Cincinnati? We're growing at X amount of rate. You might get people that are a little more open to talk to you that will show up because you reached out to them and they weren't looking. And then all of a sudden, like, well, that sounds like I am working for Jimmy Joe Jim Bob's landscaping company. Maybe I will talk to her. So maybe something like that.
Yeah, and then you
Okay.
can just handhold them through the process. Like I got a search down in Florida right now. It's a lower. I'm doing a favor for a friend, and it's a lower level sales role. It's a pain in the ass. The same thing. People don't show up. One guy had a mohawk. One guy all sorts of crazy. So yeah, to sell to lawyers, unbelievable.
There's a lot of broken legs and dead grandmas out there.
Oh yeah. I keep track of
my
it because
God.
I've got people whose grandmothers have died 3 or 4 times. Then again, some of them are down south, so they may have 3 or 4. Who knows?
Oh, and
But-
David and Mar worked inside
no,
the
but
company.
hang on. But you just got to make sure you shepherd these guys through the process. Unfortunately, at that level, you got to call them the day before the interview, morning before the interview. Text them on the way to the interview. And
Yeah, do you have a
Hold their
system that automatically texts them, like Rich was saying? I have a thing. I send an email out that says, I'm confirming your interview with, and I carbon copy the employers with it, right? And it has the time, the phone number, for everybody can see it. And then the day before, we try, I'm an idiot, but we try to send a text message, hey, don't forget your interview's tomorrow.
Yep.
But I'm working with professionals, that's not as important for the second thing. But maybe you have a system set up where if you get John Smith and he says, I'm interested, then you call him 3 days before, hey, just reminding you. You call him the day before, just reminding you. You call him in the morning, just reminding you. It may sound like if they get pissed for that, they weren't going to show up anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like you're going to scare them away.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to stalk them, I guess, or harass them. Yeah.
Not
Man.
harassing. It's doing your job.
Well,
your
yeah, I
system-
mean, she's got to. There's such a high ghosting rate. You've
Yeah,
got to do
that-
something you normally would not do. I mean, you have to take, extreme
Reality is-
action.
recruiting for the hourly people, I think, is the hardest job there is, because just for that reason, they're not responsible. They don't show up because what do I care? It's another $10 an hour job. I can go any place and get that.
Oh, Mahalo, a friend of mine was a CFO for one of those companies here. He said they were making tons of money for
Oh,
these.
yeah?
Sure.
Staffing.
Melissa, does your system have where you can email and text out of it?
Hmm. Yes.
So you should look to see if there's a way because I can set it up to delay. I can have like a 3-day delay on the text, a 3-day delay on the email. So you could, every time you got a candidate, right? John Smith applies. He says he's interested. Then you set up those delays so you don't even have to worry about it. John Smith gets an email 2 days before. John Smith gets a text the day before. John Smith gets a text the day up. Right. Mm-hmm. So at least he's getting those. Then maybe you can track to see if he responds or opens it or whatever. But at least you can have a process in place that every hourly employee, once they agree, gets an email, a text, and a text in a 4-day period, something like that.
Okay, I just want to see final. David M. Marr, he's an insider. Anything you'd like to add to what these two have told her, which I think is interesting with what they've suggested? Anything?
No. In my experience, hourly is definitely the most challenging because you have to basically babysit and chase them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can use technology to help with that, it'll make your life a lot easier. So something like
babysit,
would be.
Are these people generally, are they drunk or stoned or
no?
Is that a problem?
It's not career minded.
It's a type of industry animal where if you have somebody that works at your company and a competitor offers $1 more, your team will jump. So
I could bill twice as much as Rich if I was to do detailers, steel detailers, metal building detailers. Every company needs 10 right now as we speak, but it's not career minded. It's an hour or two, or you're talking, 12, 15, 17, 21, whatever. Somebody offers them 22, they leave. I don't want to deal with the guarantees. I don't want to deal with the bullshit. It's insane.
Okay.
A totally different conversation. Exactly.
Okay. Rich, I want to go back before I go to my next problem question.
What did I say this time?
You missed something, okay? But I'm giving it a little twist. I asked the other two guys this one. What if you're doing a Zoom interview and the person you're interviewing puts his feet up on his desk? Is that a problem for you?
If the candidate, if I'm doing with the candidate, I don't really care. I would tell him, dude, you can't really do that in an interview with a client. It'd be a flag. But
you wouldn't kick him out.
No, I would stop him and be like, dude.
This was a Zoom call? I thought this was a...
No. I gave him a different twist. I want to add a little something to the show.
Yeah. I mean, if you do but lately I've had executives, like VP level candidates, show up on a Zoom call with like a T-shirt like this on. And I'm like, I record all these calls and I had to call the guy up afterwards. I'm like, dude, seriously?
You're wearing a T-shirt, okay?
Yeah, but honestly, I'm not going for a $300,000 base salary job, right? To run a company. I'm like, all right, it's one thing having like a nice T-shirt on and a jacket. I'm not saying put a golf shirt on at least. That's all you got to do.
I wear this I wear a golf shirt every single day, just in case I have to do a Zoom call, just in case.
And blazer. You told us you wear a blazer sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a picture of me. There's a couple pictures of me in blazer when I used to walk to the office.
Next to me.
Just in case.
What's that what's that pink elephant behind you, Richie Rich? You've been drinking or something? It's in your map. Yeah.
This? Yeah. That's the W from Wisconsin for the Wisconsin badges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do I know? What do I know? Okay. The client, you send in a bunch of candidates. She likes 2 of them. She wants to hire both of them. Okay. But she says, look, you're getting them both out of the same search. I only want to pay 1 fee.
Ciao.
What do you mean, chow? You've already done the work, okay?
Yeah, I got another client that will pay me a full fee for him.
Maybe.
That's how I gauge it. If I can get a full fee for the kid elsewhere, but if I can't, I'll give them a discount. I'm not going to give them a buy one get one, but I mean, if I can't place them anywhere else, and they're like, you know what, we like Steve, but John, he's young. We have a spot for him. We want to hire him, but we can't pay a full fee.
I've never had a client. I don't know if I've ever had a client ask me for a discount for a second hire. I probably have, and I've said no, most likely. But I don't know if it's ever really come up. I've done it a lot.
I've given like $2,000, $3,000. I've never given anything significant.
I mean, that's nothing.
You guys often have people hiring 2 people off one search when they only asked for one initially. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got like one now. It was supposed to be one search. I got 4 guys in the final. and they're all studs. They technically have 7 openings though, but they only gave me an engagement fee for one of them.
Oh, okay. Tyron, I thought Tyron had a good answer. Okay. If I did the search but didn't get any hires, would you pay me for the work? No, you're paying me for the outcome, not for the search.
Yep.
Okay.
Here's one, guys. I screwed myself.
Hold on. I thought that was genius.
It is.
I thought that was
But it was
genius.
like Tommy's answer before too. You got to put yourself in my shoes. What are you really paying me for? You know, it's a great way to always look at it, which most recruiters don't. It's like when you're writing BD emails, which is always my challenge and everyone else's, but it's always like, hey, what's in it for the buyer, not for us? It's like, yeah, we're all great, big deal. Everyone says they're great. What are you doing for them? Which is, I think, the hardest answer to put out there.
Well, especially in recruiting, because you're not selling a product. Tommy, what did you want to say?
So I kind of screwed myself. I got a new client, a Polish manufacturer came into the U.S. They got referred to me. I picked up a search with them. Engagement fee. They wanted a flat fee of $20,000 because they said the salary was probably going to be in the 70 to 90 range. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it because 25% of 80 is 20 grand. I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it for 20. End up paying the guy base salary of 70 with a guarantee of 140. Right. So I'm stressed because my normal fee, because I do these all the time, would have been $45,000 or $40,000. So I feel like, what would you have done in that situation, Rich, if you agreed to a flat fee and then they end up paying them significantly higher? Do you just deal with it? Because I'm just dealing with it. Because I said,
I would just deal with it and let them know. I mean, listen, moving forward, we got to put a cap on it.
We already had that conversation. Moving forward, there's no more.
I mean, like we said earlier, this is what you and I work the same way. It's ethics. This is what we agreed to. You fucked me once. I'm not going to get fucked again. And, essentially, and if they don't agree to it, then you know what? Listen. You move on.
I think they didn't understand either. I didn't think they thought they would have to pay what they were going to have to pay to get the people they thought. And I kept trying to explain to them, this is a different market. It's not like Poland. We don't have medical insurance like you do, and there's commissions and everything, and you're in a higher cost of living area. So I educated my thought enough, and I was wrong. I thought we could find somebody for around 100, and I was wrong.
I don't understand the situation. Was this a commission-based job?
A base salary plus commission.
Yeah. So,
okay, well, Rich only pays.
So So I don't understand either. So yeah, I only get paid in the base salary. So
my base salaries are 60 and 70.
Yeah.
And they're coming into territories that are doing $4 million, and I'm bringing them guys who are making 120, and they'll guarantee them 140.
But even still, most sales roles, you're only getting paid in the base. I know some people do get paid on the full big thing, but I got to tell you, those people are rare that they win the war. They may win that particular fight and that particular deal, but we're all getting.
Well, mine are all low base salaries, so I've always, and I'm not trying to say it, but I'm talking like I had a client in Union Corrugating. Their base salaries were $24,000, $2,000 a month, and they guaranteed the guys 80 and 90 grand. I'm not doing a search for $24,000 fee. It would always whatever the guarantee is
in your space. So if their on target earnings is expected to be like 150, for instance, you're getting paid on the OTE.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I get paid on whatever the bookings are for usually, except for this particular position, most of them have a territory that's already producing, and there's a guy who's been promoted or he's moved on. So they come in and go, last 3 years, the guy in the territory made 120. Right now the bookings are going to be about 120. So we're going to guarantee him 125. And I'll say, fine, my fee is going to be $32,000. Okay, no problem.
So you're getting paid on that 125, regardless if this guy hits the number or not.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, in my space, rare that people will do it.
But the base salary on those searches was $65,000. I'm not doing it for $15,000. Ain't no way. Guys who are making
I don't blame you.
120.
Listen, if you can get it all day long, take it. So, but on something like that, I mean, again, like my base salaries are 150 and up. So they're 30,000 and up fees.
That's a different. If I had a base salary of 150 and the on target earnings could be anywhere from 2 to 3, I'll do it for the 150. Yeah. I'm not greedy, but I'm not doing it for $13,000 either.
Yeah, I mean, but if it's common in your space, then God bless you. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, listen, all you do is explain to them in the future for this guy. And, I mean, in hindsight, maybe I would have asked him, hey, listen, this thing was so above where we were at, where we expected it to be. Listen, let's pay me the full fee for this and I'll give you a discount and then I'll take that 10 grand or whatever the difference is, split it over the next 2 fees. I love doing stuff like that. Lock them in for future business.
The big firms, like Heidrick, Korn Ferry, all them, it's first year of anticipated earnings, including bonus, stock, everything, right? And a third. So for us, you and me, Rich, both asking to get 25% of their anticipated first year earnings, I don't think is unreasonable. Because tell them, I told one of my clients, go call Korn Ferry.
That's also
how much they'll
retained.
charge you.
calling in for a reason.
It's a retained search firm, though.
Exactly.
You have
I
to,
mean,
it's different.
It's a different scale of business that they do. Number one, and number two, they wouldn't use them for an AE search, essentially. You know,
No, they typically use them, in my experience, for like confidential searches where they know they're gonna like, let's say,
Anything,
replace somebody that's currently in the role.
VP level.
but I mean, like I get roles like that where I've got 2 searches right now where we're replacing their current VP and head of pre-sales. You know, people are in their roles; they're getting replaced hopefully this week. But we get those searches too. Just it's funny. I was just reading it for the course that was teaching retain, and it's how they do. I mean, how these big firms do it is just it's like going to a car showroom. It's like here they fill you full of a lot of bullshit, quite frankly.
Smoke and mirrors.
It is. I mean,
there's usually a guy that used to be there. Their company is wearing a Brooks Brothers suit and has a JD from Morton, and he's selling the search. And then guys like you and I go in and finish it.
Guys at a college.
Absolutely true. I used to work on searches for those big big consulting firms. Mm-hmm. They had a handholder who sold the search and talked to them constantly, right? In the meantime, they gave it up to me to find the candidates, do the interviews, all that stuff, right?
But if you're good enough to paint the picture for these companies to see the value in how we should do it, which is the art of it, you can get them. I mean, but again, for me,
hold on, let me ask a question about that. Do you think he's got an advantage or a disadvantage in that these guys don't know how it works in the United States? I mean, he's got to explain everything to them. They're coming from.
I work with a lot of foreign companies, and they just sometimes they get it, but they don't get it. They don't care. It's like, this is how we do it, and that's a big problem. Working with a lot of European companies. But
I had it with an Australian company. This is a major issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but if you but I mean, listen. Sometimes it's tough being Christopher Columbus and having to educate these guys for the first go around with recruiters. But if the guy's receptive, it can be a fun run as well. And listen, there's a big thing about not being, like you said, not being greedy. And I'm all about winning the war. If the guy's a good guy and he pays on time, he treats people well, and he's going to enhance your brand when you bring the candidates you tell an interview over there and they like the experience, that's worth a lot.
Oh yeah, this is going to end up probably being 10 or 15 positions over the next 3 years for me at $20,000 to $30,000 a pop. So it's worth. I'm not going to run away from it. I am going to raise the fee, but like you said,
let me mention something. We used to have a girl. She used to come on a few times, and she worked in the stock market on Wall Street, and she said that those traders have what they call trailing fees. And the recruiters billed them on these millions of dollars that they were bringing in. What?
Danny Sarch was a Pinnacle guy. He just retired, but I mean, he would only do 1 or 2 searches a year sometimes, or placements a year, maybe 3. But his fees could be a couple $100,000. I mean, he had multiple $400,000 or $500,000 fees.
Wow, it's amazing.
I have an Ogden-Bergsten fee agreement, which is one of those Shrek firms, right? And I was reading through it, and it's insane. This was for a director of a port authority somewhere, right? And the base salary is going to be $400,000 or $500,000, and the fee is going to end up being well over $150,000 when they tacked on their expenses and everything else. It's wild.
Yeah. Which is crazy. That's what makes me laugh. These guys, they get everything under the sun, and I don't truly understand how it works. We ask for 26% instead of
branding. It's branding.
It is.
It's branding.
But it's so funny because you ask for 26%. It's like, oh God, no, it's too expensive. You look what these.
You just paid Korn Ferry $300,000 to find.
I watched one of Rich's videos on LinkedIn. Okay, the guy's wearing a T-shirt. I'm not going to pay him that kind of fee. That's fair. Okay.
I got my branding. You're right. I got to get my Brooks Brothers on.
Before we move on, does any of the quiet people, if they want to say something, I'm just giving you an opportunity. Okay. 10, 9, 8,
don't make
3,
them count.
2, 1. Okay. Okay. Here's another problem. Okay. I lost it. Oh, here, I thought this was funny. The random recruiter, he said that a good background for a recruiter, a headhunter, is waitress, bartender, or athlete. Now, I have a friend who was running $1 million company, and he said he used to like to hire chefs, people. So
Why?
these guys,
Those people are
they
fucking crazy.
Exactly. There's a
they
reason
turned
Luck way in
into
the
good
back.
recruiters. But the thing is, they have no functional background. They weren't, engineers or whatever. And I always think the best recruiters are people who have a good technical understanding of the field they're working in. Now, here, this guy says, no, waitress. Okay. Waitress. Tommy was a bartender, so he's
but you can figure out the skills. But you got to be you have to be able to figure out. You got to be coachable. You got to be able to have some drive and initiative and grit and tenacity. All these guys. Just because you're an engineer doesn't make you a great recruiter. It makes you great at understanding what they need. Who cares if you can't translate it to the real world?
Yeah, but for business development, it sure helps if you know what they're talking about. You don't have
It
to
does,
ask
but
them a question.
Well, this is the thing with sales. Salesmen can sell anything if they're good because they ask the proper discovery questions. You think I'm going to place these guys in this crazy DevOps company? I don't have a clue what these guys truly do.
Mhm.
But you know what? I can
Placed
talk about
two PhD engineers.
Yeah.
Two PhD engineers.
I can't even spell
invented
PhD.
Yeah,
I mean, exactly.
But the problem is you've got your client and you're stopping her every 2 seconds to say, I don't understand this. Can you
no,
explain
you're not.
it to
You
me?
take a proper
Well, you're not.
discovery call.
Nope,
You take
no,
a
you're not.
proper intake call where you get all the information, everything you're going to need. What's the competitor going to say? What's the weakness? What are you really solving? What do you say? Why would someone buy? Why would someone replace you with replace their old system with this? What's this proper candidate going to have sold? What does this guy do? What company is he coming from? Yada,
Yeah,
yada,
but
yada.
you don't understand the
college
knockout
degree.
questions. What are the 3 questions that are essential? And you don't even understand them. They're Greek to you. That's
Who
what
cares
I'm
if you don't
talking
understand
about.
them? If you know what they are and you know what the answers are, you don't need to understand them.
Exactly.
If you give me a math program and I know what the math problem is, and you give me 3 answers and I know what the right answer is, and I give you a math problem and say fill this out, and you give it back to me, as long as I know what the right answer is, I can check your work.
I need an example. I give up. I'll have to come back another time with.
But I want to say the bartender thing. The reason why bartenders and waiters do so well is because of the type of clientele they deal with. They deal with I call it Yale or jail. Someone who just graduated from Yale or just got out of jail. They can talk to any socioeconomic, religious background, doesn't matter what it is. They can relate to so many different types of people, and they deal with so much customer service bullshit. They come into doing this was a breeze for a guy like me who bartended for 5 years at Disney. I was a bouncer and a bartender at Disney. This job is a breeze.
You're a bouncer at Disney. Do you have to wear a mouse costume or something like that?
No, it was in a nightclub.
Mel, are you just slave saying these guys are billing so much money doing the same kind of work as me? Are you saying I want to be like them? Okay. That's what you should be thinking. Okay. Think long term in your career. Okay. That's my advice. David MR up in heaven, you got anything you want to talk about, or should I keep going?
I think you should keep going.
Okay.
Now, what are we going to say? You're going to say something.
I was a waitress for 7 years before recruiting. So it just got me used to talking to people, but I did 1 year of customer service and hated it with all of my heart, but it taught me how to be on the phone with strangers. So that really helped.
How can don't they get mad at you when their product isn't working or something and they take it out on you? They can't resist. How do you tolerate that?
What do you mean?
I don't know what kind of customer service you were doing. If you're working for Best Buy and you call up and say, I paid $100 for this headset and it's not working.
Yeah. It was in the insurance industry, so it had a lot
Even
to do
worse.
with. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why won't you cover my accident? Okay, that's anyway. Let's move on. Okay.
You agree though? Dealing with as a waitress, you dealt with ridiculous different types of people.
I was a waiter. It didn't help me in recruiting. Okay, you guys.
That coffee shop in Canada doesn't count.
You guys can tell what kind of person I am. Okay, maybe this is around there. Okay, the candidate applies. The candidate applies. Gets no reply from the company. Okay? No reply. You recruit the same person and you submit them. Okay? You submit them. Are you going to be in trouble?
Say that
'Cause
again.
they're going to say they've got the person in their ATS. They've got the resume there, right?
But they didn't do anything with it. Who cares?
Okay,
I mean,
so
if it's a good company, you're safe. If it's not a good company, you're not, and you just walk away.
My clients have paid me on that several times
Yeah.
because
Yep,
it was a but-for rule. Yeah, it may have been your ATS, but you didn't even know he was there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just had this happen last week, actually, for a VP role, for our VP role.
So what's the story? I want to hear it.
No, the hang on, where'd my Zoom go here? My Google. Listen, I didn't even send the resume over. I sent this guy, I sent a question to my client about a candidate. It was a specific candidate that he would know, and the candidate wanted to be a little bit confidential because it's a competitor, blah blah blah. And then a few days later, the client's like, "Hey, I'm like, who else do you have in the mix for this search?" He's like, "I got this one other guy from this other company," and he told me, and I said, "So who is it?" And he told me, and I was like, "Well, that fucker, this is the guy I asked you the question about." And he's like, "Listen," and he's like, if he decides to move forward, I'll give you credit for it, And I'm like, I gave him all the notes and everything else, and I'm like, I got honestly though, I'd question his ethics if this is the guy you really want to hire because these guys are a pretty high value culture company. So yeah, I mean, but either way, the client was a stand-up guy, and he was going to cover me for if this guy decides to move forward.
Okay, well, you had a specially nice client, okay?
Dude, I had the same thing, and my client told the candidate to go away for going around me. My client was mad.
Yeah,
the candidate went around me.
Well, it's funny because I texted that client and just say, "Hey, if you get any further thought to this search?" Never got back to me. He doesn't know that I know he interviewed. So
You mean the candidate?
Candidate
You
never
texted
got
the
back.
candidate. You said
Yeah.
texted the client.
Yeah, you said client.
No, it's time I texted the candidate. Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know. I knew he interviewed. Never got back to me. I'm like, listen.
Now we can get to one of the nevers. Okay, Tommy had a big list of nevers. We'll deal with them one at a time, not all the same day. But he said, never work with a company that's doing its own search or at the same time as they've got you. Did you not say that? Is that one of your nevers? I'll have to find it. Yeah, you want to elaborate on it or what? Do I have to?
So that goes back to the 3,000. I'm getting the $3,000 to do the search. Now, if they have an ad running, I'm not. A lot of my searches, I don't care because I know they're not going to find anybody from the ad, right? So that doesn't. But in general, if you're going to get a new client, your recruiter going out there, and we got 3 ads running on Monster, we got 2 other recruiters working on it. Run away, and I said, except if you have the candidate you think is going to blow them away, and don't fool yourself that it's some schmo you pulled off Monster Board or Indeed, right? So it's a matter of why would you work on something that your chances of filling are much lower, especially if you're coming in late to the process, right? They got ads been running for a while. Maybe they got another recruiter worked on it for a while, and you're going to work it on a contingency.
Okay,
coming in
hold
late
on a
like
second.
that?
No, you added that part about the other recruiter, but what if they're just running
No,
ads?
it says on there.
Yeah, I know it did say
Just
it, but
running
I'm
ads.
editing.
Okay, again, just running ads. Again, with my clients, depends on the search. First of all, I'm getting $3,000 up front, so I know I'm at least going to make my $3,000, right? And then secondly, what is the search you're doing? Is it one that you've ever filled with an ad before? And the reason that my client runs ads because they're publicly traded, they're Sarbanes-Oxley, all that bullshit they have to do. They never get good candidates. They get foreigners who need H-1B visas and stuff like that. So that's why I said there's exceptions. But if you're working a search, I don't know, let's take Melissa. She's got all these ads running for a landscape architect or a landscape driver, and you're going to come in and say you're going to be able to find. What are you going to find that she can't find? And
You'll find people show up at the interview. You'll find people show up.
How quickly, and is her firm going to be willing to pay you $3,000 or $5,000 to do that search while they're running their ads? I just don't want to jump into those things.
Okay.
There's better business out there. Why would you jump? There's better business out there.
Here's the thing. Remember that guy was working with a Fortune 500 company that had trouble filling that job for a whole year. Okay, so that means they're hungry for the
won't pay his fee and won't sign the fee agreement.
Yeah, but let's separate that part from the story.
This is the difference. Like guys like Tommy and I are not afraid to walk away from deals. Most of these recruiters are. They're horrified about the thought of losing an opportunity when it's in their reality is it's a poorly qualified opportunity and it's just busy work.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to end the show there. Does anybody have something they want to plug? Melissa, do you want to plug yourself, or do you have a URL? Or I'm the greatest recruiter you're ever going to meet, working in landscaping with low-level candidates. Anything you'd like to say about it? No? Have I done it for you? Okay. Nice to meet you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Richie Rich Rosen, CornerstoneSearch.com, Palermo Roads, Thummy Alascio, and our good friend David M. Marr up in heaven. Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Stop the recording. See everybody next week. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Ciao.